Peace be upon you. Today we're going to be looking at Mr. Adnan Rashid's video about the first man who rejected all hadith.
The first one to openly come out and say, we reject hadith, we don't accept hadith at all, was a man called Abdullah Chakralawi, who came up with this idea. There's a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There will come a time when people will be leaning on cushions and they will be saying, I do not accept the sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Qur'an is enough for us.
It's funny that Mr. Adnan Rashid himself is leaning on a cushion when he's giving us this hadith. But regardless, the hadith, just so before we proceed, when he's saying the hadith of Rasulullah, he's talking about the stories written down by a man called Bukhari, who basically lived and died after Prophet Muhammad's death. And he compiled all these stories and fictions and narrations and created a book, and that's called the Sahih Bukhari. And this is one of the hadith books that the Muslims use to basically construct their whole religion of Islam. The problem is that the Quran is saying that it is complete, and we shall look in the verses in the Quran that say that the Quran is complete. So this hadith is null and void because the Quran is standing against this claim. And furthermore, Bukhari was not given any authority by the messenger to create a book and to compile all these things. So that's the other thing. And finally, this is one of the things that the Muslims' worldview is wrong, because they are told that Prophet Muhammad was somehow, he could see in the future. He knew what the events would happen before the day of judgment. And this is what the hadith is telling you. This hadith that he's going to tell you is basically that Prophet Muhammad foretold that a class of men would come and they would say that the Quran is enough for us. But we look in the Quran, we see that it says specifically that God commands Prophet Muhammad to say that I do not know anything about the future. So let's just look at that verse in the Quran, and then we're going to continue on with the story that Mr. Adnan Rashid is cooking up here. So this is chapter 46. We're going to start at verse 7. And when our proofs are recited to them as clear signs, those who ignore warning say of the truth when it has come to them, this is obvious sorcery. Now, when our proofs are recited to them, it's talking about the Quran, the Quran's proofs, the ayat of the Quran. As clear signs, those who deny, they say of the truth that this is obvious sorcery. So they deny the Quran is what it's saying. If they say he has invented it, say thou, if I have invented it, then you will not possess for me anything against God. He best knows what you say concerning it. Sufficient is he as witness between me and you, and he is the forgiving, the merciful. Say thou, I am no new thing among the messengers, and I know not what will be done with me or with you. I follow only what is revealed to me, and I am only a clear warner. See? Prophet Muhammad did not have any knowledge of the future. And just to confirm this, here's another verse from the Quran. We're going to start at chapter 7, verse 187. They ask thee concerning the hour, when is its arrival? Say thou, knowledge thereof is but with my Lord. None reveals its time save he. It weighs heavily in the heavens and the earth. It comes not upon you save unexpectedly. They ask thee as though thou wert privy thereto. Say thou, knowledge thereof is but with God, but most men know not. So here it's categorically saying that Prophet Muhammad does not have any knowledge about the hour. He does not know the events that will unfold before the hour. This is the thing with Muslims. This is their favorite thing. They pull out hadiths from the Sahih Bukhari and they say, look, was foretold by Prophet Muhammad. These events will occur before the day of judgment. This is denying this. So you see, the hadiths are in complete opposition to what the Quran is saying. So they ask thee as though you had knowledge of this, you had some inside knowledge of this. Say, knowledge thereof is but with God. And then verse 188 continues, say thou, I have no power to do myself benefit or harm save that God should will. And had I knowledge of the unseen, I would have acquired abundance of wealth, and evil would not have touched me. I am only a warner and bearer of glad tidings to people who believe. That God is instructing Prophet Muhammad to say, the messenger to say, and had I knowledge of the unseen, I would have acquired abundance of wealth, and evil would not have touched me. See, he did not have any knowledge about the future, about the unseen, nothing. He didn't have knowledge of the hour. So this by itself negates the whole hadith. But we're going to continue on and listen to what Mr. Adnan Rashid has to say.
Rasulullah foretold. Some of the scholars in India, in the subcontinent at the time when Abdullah Chakralawi literally would give lectures leaning on a cushion, and he would be saying to people, I don't accept hadith, Qur'an is enough for us. And some ulama pointed out, this is the fulfillment of the hadith of Rasulullah, his prophecy. There will be people leaning on cushions and they will be saying, I don't accept hadith, I don't believe in it. The Qur'an alone is enough for us, which is absurd. Parts of Qur'an cannot be comprehended without the Sunnah of the Prophet explaining those parts.
Yeah, so parts of the Quran cannot be comprehended without the Sunnah of the Prophet explaining those parts. Okay, this is his claim, but let's just look in the Quran and I'll show you that his claim has no merit. The Quran itself rejects his claim. This is chapter 7. Let's look at, let's just start at verse 52. And we have brought them a writ which we set out and detailed according to knowledge, a guidance and mercy for people who believe. Look, they say, for the fulfillment thereof, the day the fulfillment thereof comes, those who had forgotten it before will say, the messengers of our Lord came with the truth. So have we any intercessors that might intercede for us? Or will we be sent back that we might do other than what we did? They will have lost their souls, and straight from them will be what they invented. Okay? So they will say, on that day, the people will say, the messengers of our Lord came with the truth. What did they come with? The truth. And what is the truth? The Quran. Okay, the writ of God. And we have brought them a writ which we set out and detailed according to knowledge. Yeah, let's go at chapter 6, verse 114. Is it other than God I should seek as judge when he it is that sent down to you the writ, set out and detailed? And those to whom we gave the writ know that it is sent down from thy Lord with the truth. So be thou not of those who doubt. So should I seek a judge other than God when it is he who has sent down the writ, set out and detailed? And perfected is the word of thy Lord in truth and justice. There is none to change his words, and he is the hearing, the knowing. This is chapter 12, verse 108. We're going to continue all the way to the end of the surah. Say thou, this is my path. I invite to God with insight, I and whoso follows me. And glory be to God, and I am not of the idolaters. And we sent before thee only men to whom we revealed from among the people of the cities. So have they not traveled in the earth and seen how is the final outcome of those who were before them? And the abode of the hereafter is best for those who are in prudent fear. Would you then not use reason? When the messengers had despaired and thought that they had been denied, there came to them our help, and who we willed was delivered, and repulsed not is our wrath from the law-breaking people. There is in their story a lesson for men of understanding. It is not an invented narrative, but a confirmation of what is before it, and an exposition of everything, and guidance and a mercy for people who believe. See? The Quran is not an invented narrative. It is a confirmation of what is before it, and an exposition of everything. The Quran is denying this claim that it is not complete. As far as his claim that we need the Sunnah of the Prophet to understand the Quran because it explains it, this is tackled in my book, this argument. If you download my book from readnotreason.com, I'll provide a link in the drop down box below. In that book, I have shown you that this is a false argument. So let's just take a look at this. Muhammad explained the Quran. Muslims claim that they need the Hadith literature because it explains the Quran, thereby implying that it was Muhammad's job to explain it. However, the Quran claims that it itself is an explanation. The Quran is itself an explanation. So do you need an explanation to explain an explanation? Let's look at this one. This is chapter 16, verse 89. And the day we raise in every community a witness against them from themselves, and we bring thee as a witness against these. And we send down the writ upon thee as a clarification of all things, and as guidance, and as a mercy, and as glad tidings for those submitting. And by the way, Muhammad's task was not to explain the Quran, but like the messengers before him, his task was to deliver the message of God. That's what the word messenger means, to deliver a message. This is chapter 3, verse 20. And if they argue with thee, then say thou, I have submitted my face to God, as those have those who follow me. And say thou to those given the writ and to the unschooled, have you submitted? And they have submitted, then are they guided. But if they turn away, then upon thee is only the notification, and God sees the servants. Only the notification. Chapter 5, verse 92. And obey God, and obey the messenger, and beware. But if you turn away, then know that upon our messenger is only the clear notification. Chapter 5, verse 99. Upon the messenger is only the notification, and God knows what you reveal and what you conceal. And there's other verses that I bring forward to support this claim. There's many verses in the Quran, so this whole this whole claim that the Sunnah or the Hadith are explaining the Quran is null and void according to Quran. See, the Quran itself is negating these claims, and I do suggest you look at the other ones as well, because these are the common arguments that Muslims bring up when you say Quran is sufficient. They will say the Quran is difficult to understand. They'll say Muhammad was given special wisdom. They'll say we must go to Muhammad for judgment, which is not possible because Prophet Muhammad is not alive. Then they will compromise and they'll say accept some hadith and reject others. Well, where's your criteria for that? And then finally, the Quran was compiled after Muhammad's death. This is actually a very insidious argument because you don't find this in the Quran. The Quran was being written down in the time of Prophet Muhammad. And let me just find you that chapter. Yeah, Hadith literature, chapter 12. So I suggest you read this chapter at least, and you'll see the truth of the matter that Mr. Adnan Rashid, he really has no leg to stand upon, according to the Quran. Now, as far as this hadith coming true, and this is one of the beauties of this hadith, is that not only have you future-proofed it against people later who will question it, but at the same time, by them questioning it, it is giving this hadith legitimacy because it is foretelling the future. And you can tell that these men were very smart in how they went about it. So that's really all there is to it. This hadith is not a foretelling. This is just something that they anticipated would happen, and so they put this in there so that later on when people would come to question, they could use this hadith to not only give this hadith more legitimacy but also to shut these people up. And this claim that Chakravarti was the first one, how does Mr. Adnan Rashid know this, by the way? Is he alive since the time of Prophet Muhammad that he's seeing all this? He doesn't know. He just read it somewhere and he's stating this as a fact, just like the rest of the things that he said that he states as facts, which are not facts and which the Quran itself denies. Anyway, that's it for now. God willing, until next time, peace and blessings be upon you.